Yo, let's get into it. Here we go.
And now a stomp to CM Punk is back in. Cena, damn it, Cena steals it.
WWE Night of Champions 2025 is in the books, and whew, what a show. From Cody Rhodes becoming King of the Ring to Jade Cargill becoming Queen of the Ring, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez was an unexpected banger. Even though it was unfortunate to see Karrion Kross lose, I'm glad he was on pay-per-view and his match against Sami Zayn was really solid. And I think that match for a lot of people at least showed that Karrion Kross can wrestle. And listen, I know when it comes to Karrion Kross, there's a lot of divided opinion. I know some people are still on the side of thinking, well, this guy can't wrestle, that one AJ Styles clip is going around. I also think despite him losing, the agenda is not over yet. I still think there's time to do something with Karrion Kross. But equally for Sami Zayn, what a moment to have that entrance, to have that win. The crowd was absolutely electric last night. Genuinely one of the best wrestling crowds I've ever seen, so shout out to Saudi Arabia. Not to mention the debut of a new Bloodline member as Solo Sikoa won the United States Championship. We saw the return of Tonga Loa.
With that spinning neckbreaker to Jacob Fatu.
And we also saw Hikuleo, who was on SmackDown recently. He is now known as Talatanga, and he is in the Bloodline.
We've seen him destroy people in Japan, and he just destroyed Jacob Fatu.
And I'ma be for real, I kinda love that Solo one. Jacob Fatu's reign as US champion comes to an end at 70 days, but it was a pretty solid reign for the time he had. And in all honesty, it's very obvious that the World Championship is in his future, so it's all good. You also had the main event, CM Punk against John Cena, which wasn't without its shenanigans.
Ground on the outside with a tub. Oh no! This is not unprecedented. Rollins cashed in to make a triple threat 10 years ago.
Seth Rollins came out looking like me that one time I wore the red flame suit. At one point in the match, it did seem like Seth was going to cash in, and then Charles Robinson was running down to ringside.
Unofficial. Is Rollins going to go for the heist of the century? John Cena not going to allow it to happen.
It's very interesting to see that slowly there's a babyface John Cena cooking. You can notice it with the little details. Every match now has one of them. Although the ending proved that John Cena right now is still a bad person.
I told you something. Wait, we've seen that. Look.
Triple H also went on to say that that was indeed the final John Cena CM Punk match. There will be no more. And it's a little disappointing because I kind of wanted their final match to not end in shenanigans like that, but at the same time, I do kind of enjoy the shenanigans endings sometimes. And I feel like for John Cena's heel run, it made a lot of sense with the way things went down, so I'm not mad about it. And let me know your wrestling hot takes down in the comments below. It can be current day or it can be in history, and you'll have a chance of being in the next episode. They should have done the turnbuckle spot with Kross and Sami so they can keep building that Sami is really a bad person storyline. Oh my god, that's genius. That would have made so much more sense because oh my god, I can't believe they didn't do that.
The exposed steel. Crossroads by Cody.
It was so anticlimactic. Like, I genuinely thought Randy was about to kick out of the next Crossroads, but no, like a little turnbuckle spot and then that's it. I will say when it comes to Cody versus Randy though, Randy definitely teasing that heel turn right there. You saw the look at the end. But my question for Randy is, when are you gonna finally hit that punt kick, buddy? It's a whole lot of oh, I missed it. I hate the narrative that Jade is new and needs time to develop. She's been wrestling for 7 years. Her wrestling style is too anticipatory and stiff. You can see her visually think before any move or action. I don't think she deserved to be Queen of the Ring. P.S. How is your heart doing now since it's been some time since your surgery? First of all, thank you for asking. I know she's been wrestling for 7 years, but in reality, 7 years is not a ton of time for someone who was thrown straight into the spotlight. And I think being on that grand stage of WWE, especially in a super hot arena, there's a lot of pressure there and, you know, things can go wrong. For example, I know when she hit Jaded on Asuka, it was a bit of a, was that really a 3 count or not? And it was a little awkward there.
Jaded. Jade Cargill wins. Queen of the Ring.
And yes, sometimes you can see her tracking what she's about to do next, but I think that fluidity will come with more time. Sure, maybe in the grand scheme of things, given what I just said, it's a bit early to crown her Queen of the Ring, but I think the story makes the most sense. And God knows they have telegraphed the absolute hell out of Naomi cashing in on Jade after she wins the Women's Championship from Tiffany at SummerSlam. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. Like, I'm excited to see that story unfold. I'm excited to see Naomi win the Women's Championship again. But equally, when you go ahead and put in front of me the idea of getting Asuka versus Io Sky, I kind of want that as well. But I think there's still a path where we can get to that at SummerSlam. And in terms of how my heart is doing, a lot of you that are new subscribers probably don't even know what he's talking about here. Thankfully, when it comes to my heart surgery, I am doing much better. It has healed very well. And in terms of the stroke I had a year ago, the doctors think that that is probably the cause. There was a pretty big hole in my heart, so they think the blood clot traveled up through my leg and through the heart and to my brain. Unfortunately, I still have a little bit of vision blindness, which means I can't drive right now. But generally, I'm feeling better day by day, and I am just taking it day by day. So grateful to still be here. Rhea versus Raquel way over-delivered. That was probably Raquel's best match in my opinion. The cannonball counter into the powerbomb through the board was amazing. I completely agree.
Up top, driving Ripley. Oh my goodness.
The precarious nature of the ending as well, where they were on top of the table and then she hits Riptide down to the ring, was incredible. And I've been saying Raquel Rodriguez is not that bad. And then also Raquel Rodriguez developing this new relationship with Roxanne Perez and what happens with the tag championships on Raw. It's a very interesting little situation. But shout out to both women for proving a lot of naysayers wrong. A lot of people were saying, why is this on pay-per-view? That's why it's on pay-per-view. Solo winning the US title with the help of the Tongans and Hikuleo was a great call, and it rewards Solo for all of his growth and character development. It also will allow Jacob to feud with some of the top heels on SmackDown going forward to further establish him as a major threat. All around great booking decision. Granted, I do think it would have been a little stronger if Tama Tonga was there as well, but I assume he's still injured. I also couldn't tell what Michael Cole was saying in the moment, but apparently Hikuleo is Tala Tonga. He was really waffling on. He was just saying a bunch of, it was like Tala Tonga. I was like, what? Who cares? But I am very happy about Solo winning the US title. Like I said, I've really come around on him again recently. There is way too much Samoans to keep count of, to be honest. This, of course, being one of the main criticisms about Hikuleo coming into the Bloodline story, and then also now Tonga Loa returning. A lot of people are saying, well, now there's too many Samoans and the story's just never gonna end. If you think there's too many Samoans now, wait till you add in Zilla Fatu and the infinite number of other Samoans on the indies and coming up. Not to mention Jey Uso's son wants to become a wrestler as well. In my opinion, if Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn match happened at US, there is a slight chance that we could have had a different outcome, or Karrion might have been booked stronger irrespective of the result. Sami's popularity in Saudi unfortunately did not help Karrion, and it might have influenced the booking of the match. Yeah, I can see that. Sami winning makes sense for the story. He's defeated the demon that was carried on his shoulder. It makes sense in terms of the story. He is the underdog. You know, he finally vanquishes the demon that's been tormenting him all these months. And the Karrion Kross loss would not have been as bad if he had been a consistently performing character on the show. But when you go ahead and instead of having him wrestle and consistently pick up wins and build him while you're building Sami, instead you go ahead and have him just as this voice in the head of Sami Zayn, always on the shoulder doubting him, and then Sami just defeats the demon. Then there's not really a ton that you can do with Karrion Kross after that, because Sami's already beaten the demon. Outside of now the demon going ahead and tormenting Sami some more, Sami's like, well, I've beaten the demon now, I can move on. I feel like it would have made way more sense to go ahead and say, oh, Sami can't beat the demon the first time, and you tell this story of Sami trying to overcome Karrion. Solo was the right choice. Love the vids. Thank you, and yes, I agree. Triple H really likes his fake cash-ins. It feels like every other show there's a fake cash-in. Yeah, it is getting a bit incessant actually. And the thing is, when it comes to Naomi doing it, I'm like, let's slow down. With Seth, I get it, because Seth has already won Money in the Bank before. I can get why he's playing mind games. He's like, I've been here before. This is part of the vision. It kind of works into who he is. But when it comes to Naomi, I worry with the amount they're teasing it and how obvious it is that she's going to cash in on Jade. Because is there a scenario here where Naomi fails the cash in? I really hope she isn't the first woman to fail. That would be absolutely diabolical. For me personally, the ideal Money in the Bank holder was like Dolph Ziggler, where he held it for a while. He got into a feud after he won Money in the Bank. It was kind of just a thing he had, but it wasn't the entire personality that he now was.
Look at this! Zigzag! Zigzag! Cover! Cover! We got us a new world champion!
I have a Saudi conspiracy theory. There's a contractual obligation to have a title change at every Saudi Arabia wrestling show. It's been the case since like 2022, including the Crown Jewel Championship. Ooh, I haven't really been paying that close attention, but maybe that is a thing because it would add into the spectacle of how they always make the Saudi shows feel like a super big deal. Maybe that was part of the deal, like there always has to be a title change. This one isn't really a hot take. The comment simply just reads, fire! Okay, unspeakable error. You know what? I'm glad you enjoyed it. There is a lot of negativity out there when it comes to wrestling pay-per-views. A lot of people acting like the sky is falling, like this is Chicken Little. So I'm glad someone really liked it, and I don't think it was that bad of a show. I see people like really dramatizing it, and for that matter, I see people really dramatizing Cody Rhodes winning another accomplishment, and really dramatizing that we're getting Cody versus Cena again. Listen, do I think Randy would have been the better winner? Absolutely. Do I think we could have done a different winner other than Randy or Cody? Yeah. I still stand on the opinion that Sami Zayn winning would have been better than all those options, to be honest. If you had Karrion Kross versus Sami Zayn in the finals of King of the Ring, because then you're building Karrion Kross, you're getting him some wins, you get him to the finals, you put him over a bit, but then ultimately Sami wins in the finals, and that's where he says Sami is really a bad person, stealing opportunities away from me, the up-and-comer.
Valid point, valid point. We out of here.